I went back and looked at what all the press clips and the conversations on shows like this were 8 years ago. It was basically debating just how cool Barack Obama is. But so we should at least, if we're not going to do that about President-elect Trump, we should at the very least trust him to do the right thing and comply with the law.
I understand every knee-jerk pushback is going to be to blame the media. That's a crutch. I get it, and I'm used to it.
Not by me.
But it's not the facts.
Not by me.
But let me ask you this.
That's not fair.
Why are you campaigning against Mitt Romney as Secretary of State?
I'm not campaigning against anyone. I'm just a concerned citizen.
We're going to talk about the cabinet that is now beginning to take shape. The one that has been getting the most attention, besides Tim Geithner, is the choice for Secretary of the Treasury, as you might expect. Madam Secretary of State, Hillary Clinton. The Clintonistas are back. Rahm Emanuel and the White House Chief of Staff. Eric Holder, the Attorney General. What are the issues for Hillary Clinton beyond Bill, or are those the big issues?
Oh, I think it was the bill was the big issue here. In fact, there were some very Hillary loyalists very upset this week, thinking that Bill and his boys were messing the whole deal up by leaking the fact of how cooperative he was being. It was creating the drama that the Obama folks were trying to avoid, and it was my understanding that some Hillary loyalists made it clear to Chicago, this isn't us. This isn't the way we're going to be. We're not going to be this type of State Department. I think what's critical going forward is, what is the relationship going to be with Jim Jones, who's the likely national security advisor, and Hillary Clinton? What you're seeing Obama develop here, yes, he's going to have some very strong, it's not a team of rivals, I call it a team of egos, and I mean that in a positive way. It's a lot of big personalities he's putting in his cabinet, but he's also putting big personalities in charge of major things. NSA, he's doing this with Larry Summers, with the Council of Economic, with that position, and he's going to create one on green, on energy issues. That's going to almost be an Uber cabinet post over energy, interior, and EPA. We should let our audience know that Jim Jones, well known in the Washington circles, former Marine Commandant, has several languages. He was NATO commander. He is highly regarded across the board here. There you see him on the screen. He'll be a very, very strong voice in any White House. Eric Holder, Obama's friend, number 2 in the Clinton administration, the Justice Department under Janet Reno. But on the way out, he was involved in the Mark Rich pardon by waving it through, saying, take a look at it.
Exactly, looking the other way. And he has, in public statements since, said, well, maybe I should have paid a bit more attention to that and taken another look at it. The early signs are that Capitol Hill seems to be, and Washington seems to be, willing to say, okay, that's in the past. Eric Holder is highly regarded by people on both sides of the aisle. As Attorney General, he would be an interesting choice for me, in part because he has very strong views on the issues of torture and detention of the at Guantanamo and that whole nexus of issues. It'd be interesting to see how he proceeds. President-elect Obama has said he will make this a priority, closing Guantanamo and restoring America's honor and place in the world, as he has essentially put it. So, do we have some sort of investigatory commission? How does he go about putting things right from the point of view of the new administration?
And Chuck, Todd, you've been looking at the election results, and one of the things that jumps out at you is the Hispanic vote. Obviously, was very powerful for the Democrats. Texas could go Democrat in 4 years or possibly 8 years. Bill Richardson, who is the most high-profile Hispanic politician in the country now, rumored for Secretary of the Commerce.
Boy, this came together sort of last minute, too. They were looking for a place for a well-known Hispanic. Some Hispanic supporters of President-elect Obama were not happy that none of the big posts, they've had HUD, they've had energy, they've had, that isn't what they were interested in. They wanted a seat at the big boys' table and the big girls' table. And so commerce is an interesting thing. They're going to ramp up commerce. They're going to roll it out. And this might actually be a good place for Bill Richardson. Commerce is America's cheerleader sometimes on business.
Commerce and state need to work together, especially when you talk about protectionism and trade. And obviously the relationship between Richardson and Clinton, is that going to be magnets, egos coming together, or hitting on the other side of the magnet?
Potentially they found a good place for it. We'll see.
We also have Daschle, Napolitano, and maybe a holdover in Bob Gates, who is the Secretary of Defense. So we've got a lot to talk about in the weeks to come. We'll have to leave it right there for now, however. Thanks very much. I'll be right back.
Knee-jerk pushback is going to be to blame the media. It's a crutch. I get it. It's a crutch. I get it. It's a crutch. I get it.